City streets, crowded paths, or weekend trails, getting around shouldn't be a hassle. Today we've got the ACTBEST Mars, a folding e-bike that promises a simple, fast, and flexible ride. At around $600, it's surprisingly affordable, especially with all the features it packs, so we had to give it a try. We're going to check out its design, power, and overall ride experience to see how it handles in real life. Let's get started. So the unboxing part. Let's open it up. Well, liked how tightly packed it came. There's no loose movement inside the box. Foam blocks around every key part, zip ties holding the frame secure. Let's get them out. Here's the bike components, and also we got the charger, a small toolkit with Allen keys and wrenches, a user manual, and reflectors. Even the pedals and front wheel were nicely tucked in. Alright, now it's time to assemble. Let's get into it. We just locked the clamp and it is ready. That's nice. You don't need Pro Tools or a long setup process. Now coming to the design, it follows a clean step-through layout, so getting on and off is super easy. You just walk in, sit, and go. Works well for almost anyone, short or tall. This glossy finish on the frame looks sharp, with a slight metallic touch under sunlight, which adds a nice bit of depth. And the welds around the joints look neat and solid. Folding latch also clicks firmly, and once locked, there's no flex or wobble through the middle. That's something a lot of budget foldables struggle with, but this one holds steady. The tires are 20-inch by 3-inch, not full fat tire size, but wide enough to grip gravel, grass, and light trails without losing balance. The fenders are metal and might make a small sound over bumps, but they're sturdy and hold their shape better than plastic ones. Both the handlebar and seat adjust quickly. For the seat, you can extend the height almost 10 inches, which gives a good range for different riders. And this one is cool. This Shimano 7-speed gear shift. For a $600 bike, that's impressive. Suspension-wise, there's front suspension, but no rear suspension, so it's more about smooth streets than bumpy trails. Once folded, this measures roughly 36 by 29 inches. The weight sits around the mid-60s, so not super light, but easy enough to move around. You'll fold it mostly for transport or storage, rather than constant folding, which still adds great flexibility if you live in a tight space or want to fit it in a trunk. Here's the keyhole right under the seat. That's for turning the battery on, and you can see the battery indicator on top of the battery. The display itself also shows that info, and you get the same details in both places. The display is pretty simple, with just 3 buttons, and looks easy to use. So overall, the whole build feels practical and balanced, not flashy, but solid where it matters. Now let's power it on. With the key, turning on the battery, then hold this M button, and it's on. Those 2 buttons are for changing the mode. Okay, let's roll. The first thing that we found impressive is the throttle response. It doesn't jerk forward, it ramps smoothly. There's a slight delay that helps new riders get used to it. On pedal assist level 1, it moves at a calm cruising pace. We got somewhere around 10 to 12 miles per hour. Switch to PAS 3 or 4, and it starts pulling with a nice punch. We hit level 5 on a straight section, and saw it climb up to around 28 miles per hour. That's right in line with its rated top speed they claim. And even with a heavier rider, it didn't feel sluggish. Now the front hydraulic suspension does a fair job of absorbing bumps, and together with the 3-inch tires, it manages to smooth out most city roads and light trails. When we were on uneven surfaces, the lack of rear suspension became noticeable. It's not harsh to the point of discomfort, but we felt the rear kick slightly on repeated bumps. Still, the seat deserves a mention. It's wider than most and has spring pockets underneath, which adds some cushion on rough roads. And we tried letting go of the handle for a few seconds. It stayed balanced for about 5 to 6 seconds before it started drifting slightly. So the geometry feels well tuned. And the weight distribution is center heavy, which helps it stay grounded at higher speeds. While we were riding through curves, it stayed balanced and controlled. But on trails, the fat tires bite well. We couldn't hit mountains, but on backyard inclines, pedal assist level 4 handled it easily. Cruise control locks in nicely, so the bike keeps rolling without touching the throttle. On PAS5, we tried braking. It handles nicely. Though they're mechanical, we just needed to pull a little harder on the levers, and it stopped firmly. It was solid and predictable. Overall, it feels confident. And that matters most for a folding e-bike. This little unit runs on a 750-watt brushless motor, peaking at 1,200 watts and delivering 70 Newton meters of torque. Those are the claimed numbers, and we can't measure the torque ourselves, so we can't say if it's exact. But riding it feels pretty close to what they promise. And on inclined roads, power stays steady without sagging, and the faint hum of torque is satisfying. And the Shimano 7-speed shifts cleanly, with just a slight click if you change under load. And the controller manages torque, so the motor never snaps in suddenly, keeping rides smooth and safe. Battery-wise, it's 48 volt, 10.4 amp hour, and it claims 30 to 55 miles of range. We got about 40 miles on mixed use, and with pedal assist, we reached around 50 miles. So, the claims held up pretty well. And it's removable, charges in 4 to 5 hours with the included 2 amp charger, and has UL certification for safety. For commuting or weekend trips, this capacity feels well balanced. Besides the basics, the Mars brings a few nice touches. The LCD screen is simple, yet we could read it even in bright sunlight. Up front, the reflector adds a nice touch, and the integrated light doubles as a brake and signal light, which makes us feel extra visible. The horn sits right under our thumb, and every button is easy to reach, so we never had to look down for the throttle, assist, or lights. The seat folds with a single latch, and the rear rack handled groceries and a saddlebag without any trouble. Altogether, these thoughtful touches make the Mars not just fun on weekends, but practical for daily rides too. Let's talk value, because that's where the Mars makes its biggest case. At around $600, this e-bike offers performance you usually find in models twice the cost. Of course, some corners were cut to hit this price. The brakes are mechanical, and there's no rear suspension. But the overall ride experience still feels composed, and it also includes a 12-month warranty, which adds confidence for new buyers. So it fits right in that sweet spot of affordability and capability. So, wrapping this up, the ACTBEST Mars Folding e-bike surprised us. It's fast, stable, and it feels more refined than what its price might suggest. It is flexible for small spaces, and the power delivery feels confident whether you're cruising in the city or hitting a dirt path. And if you're after an e-bike that combines real-world usability with enough punch to make rides exciting, the Mars delivers that balance well. So that was all. Thanks for watching. Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you found it helpful, give it a like and subscribe for more bike news and reviews.